So you put $5 in. Now what?
I'm bad, I'm bad, I'm bad, I'm bad. I love you, I'm bad.
Okay.
Hi, I'm John Atkinson, Editor-in-Chief of Stereophile magazine, and I'm standing here in the Sands Convention Center in Las Vegas, Nevada for the 2018 Consumer Electronics Show. It is absolutely crowded, as you can see, people flowing backwards and forwards. But the ironic thing for audiophiles is that none of this busyness is about audio. It's about smartphones and drones and, well, you name it, it's not audio. So high-end audio is now in the Venetian Hotel on just the 29th and 35th floors, and that's where we're going now to shoot some video, to listen to some systems. So we're on the 35th floor of the Venetian, and we've come here for the Lamm room. Vladimir Lamm is my neighbor in Brooklyn and makes always superb sounding amplifiers. So let's see what he's up to.
It's alright. I said it's alright. Said it's alright. Have a good time, 'cause it's alright. Whoa, it's alright. Now we're gonna move real slow, because the lights are low. When you move it slow, it feels like more, 'cause it's alright. Whoa, it's alright. You got to listen to the beat, and maybe tap your feet. Now you got soul, everybody knows that it's alright. Whoa, it's alright.
What were we listening to?
Well, right, we start with our Air Force turntable. It's fed by a concept moving coil cartridge, around a $1,200 cartridge, which is fed into the Lamm signature 4-box phono preamplifier. There's a separate power supply for each stage, right channel power supply. Our digital front end is by Aqua Acoustic Quality out of Milan, Italy. We're featuring our La Diva dedicated 44.1 transport and our galvanically isolated formula reference DAC called the XHD, Formula XHD.
Now this uses a resistor ladder rather than a chip,
Yes,
right?
yes, there's no chipsets in here at all. Using R2 ladder DAC, dual mono configuration. Actually, 4 DACs in it, 4 ladders in this, 2 for each channel. It's split by frequency. So we go up to a certain frequency and then we change it to another.
Well, unusual
Okay.
way of doing it these days.
Yes, and being galvanically insulated, there are no ground loop issues with digital going into analog. It's all use optical cable. Okay, with dedicated power supplies for each section.
Okay, so preamps, digital source, analog source, which we didn't listen to.
Correct.
And the power amplifiers, these are
The
the
power
ML3
amps
signatures?
are the magnificent ML3s, 4-box unit, 38 watts, a single-ended triode. Excuse, 2, sorry. You can see the separate power supplies, the 4 transformers, and 2 transformers for the main unit. They feed the Karma MIDI grands, the exquisite MIDI grands. These guys go down to 22 hertz. It's similar Dippolito configuration with bass driver top and bottom.
Okay. And the cabling is, you say it's a Russian cable?
Yes, it's a Russian cable, which a Chanov cable out of Russia. Very interesting range. His cables start inexpensively at $80 and go all the way up the line to the Signature series. Very interesting cabling.
Okay. Well, thanks very much, Charles.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Well, that was quite a system. $250,000 worth of Lamm amplification, the ML3 signature amplifiers, the L2.1 signature preamplifier, which we recently reviewed in Stereophile, Karma Grand Ceramique loudspeakers, which cost $191,000 a pair, digital front end from an Italian company that's new to me, Aqua, CD transport, and a resistor ladder DAC. We listened to some of my recordings, we listened to recordings of Vladimir's Choice, and it was a big sound, full range. My organ recording had full weight in the bottom. Voices had extreme tangibility. Maybe the top octave was a little suppressed, I'm not sure. Imaging was excellent. So yeah, excellent sound. Room perhaps a bit too reverberant, but nevertheless, excellent sound. But at a price, $500,000. So even as I say that about with great sound in the room, we're now in the corridor, and I can hear this honk on my voice. So my apologies for if you hear that.
So one thing I thought of just now is that if you go over to the zoo and see the products that are there, that's what they call the main floor. The products that were there 10 years ago, they're all obsolete. There was probably not one product that was there 10 years ago that you can still use. The computers are outdated, the hard drives are outdated, the televisions are outdated, the cameras are outdated. Just about everything that's over there is outdated. On our side of the fence, every product that you may have bought 20 years ago is still useful, can still be used, and can be handed down to the next generation to use, and will never be obsolete, pretty much, except for the digital stuff, which is no good. No, I'm kidding. But most of the stuff that we sell and that we show and that we love will never be obsolete, and that's important.
CES is actually going shockingly well. We had very low expectations in terms of what we were, planning to see here and planning to do. And what we've done and what we've seen has been fantastic. I'm thrilled. What can I say?
Are you going to be back next year?
That's a good question. Probably. We'll see whether it's gonna be here next year. But I've been to every CES in Las Vegas since the first one. So, I'm committed to CES. I'm a big believer in CES. I mean, going back before that, I have been attending CESs since Chicago 1974. In fact, I went to a winter show in Chicago in January, and that was boy. So I'm a big believer in CES. I think CES has been very important for the high-end audio industry, and I hope the high-end audio industry relooks at its embracing of CES, because I think it's a big thing, and I think it's something we should be embracing.
So here we are on the 29th floor of the Venetian in Las Vegas. This is where all the high-end audio exhibitors are, and there used to be more on more floors, but now it's just the 29th and a little bit of the 35th. We're outside the Vandersteen room. Richard Vandersteen always gets great sound at shows, so we're going to go in and see what he's doing this year. Oh, hi Richard.
Hi, Johnny.
Great to see you. We've come in to take a listen to your system.
Well, welcome. It's good to see you.
It's alright. I said it's alright. Said it's alright. Have a good time. 'Cause it's alright. Whoa, it's alright. Now we're gonna move real slow. Because the lights are low. When you move it slow, it feels like home. 'Cause it's alright. Whoa, it's alright. You got to listen to the beat.
So that was very interesting. I listened to those recordings on the large Vandersteen 7s at home when I reviewed those speakers, along with their high-pass amplifiers. And although the 7s are larger, more dynamic range, this system got pretty close at a much lower cost. So let's talk to Richard about what was going on.
Well, John, we have the, starting at the top with our input, we have the DCS clock driving the Rossini for our digital front end. We have the Audio Research Ref6 preamplifier, the Audio Quest Niagara powerline conditioners. It's all sitting on an HRS rack, along with the amplifiers. They're also sitting on HRS amp stands. And then standing on the amp stands are our new M5 high-pass amplifiers. They're the baby brothers to the M7s that you reviewed. They're 300 watts into 4 ohms, 150 watts into 8 ohms. They are like the big ones, only 5 parts in the signal path, and single-ended amplifiers connected by the loudspeakers, push-push design.
And then they're a lot less expensive than the
Yes,
original
they are
ones.
15,000 a pair, so about a third of what the HPA 7, the Model 7 is.
And they're driving the Quattro CT loudspeakers.
Quattro CT loudspeaker, which are 14.6 a pair, 3,000 more in automotive gloss finishes, if you like. They include a powered subwoofer section, so with the two connected, we have a fully, truly bi-amplified system.
Where are you crossing over?
100 hertz,
Okay.
which is adjustable in this high-pass amp, from 20 hertz all the way up to 200 hertz.
So if you adjust it down to 20 hertz, say you're driving mini monitors like KFLS50s, you've actually got a full range amplifier there.
If the speaker is limited in its bass
Yeah.
response, you would, yes.
You've been at the show forever, but so many exhibitors are now, they haven't come to this show. Have you had good traffic? Is it still been a good show for you?
Yesterday the traffic was actually quite good. Today's a little bit lighter than usual, but it depends on the business we do. The press has been very well represented. If we do business, I've never judged the success of a show by how many bodies were there.
Right.
It was, did we do business? And in that sense, I've seen some of our dealers, and we'll know in the next few days. The reason I wanted to come back, although in a smaller scale, we went from 2 rooms down to 1 room and a smaller system than we generally show, was I didn't know. There was a question. We tried to reduce cost a little bit, but I really believe in an industry show, trade show.
Yeah.
And I will be here as long as there is the possibility of it succeeding. And personally, I hope that it does. But time will tell.
Okay. Well, thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure listening and talking. And, well, let's go back out onto the 29th floor, John. Okay. So you want my impressions of the sound?
Yeah.
It's just going to be awkward with Richard standing right there. Okay. Well, Richard always makes good sound at shows. The system didn't play as loud as I would have expected from a more expensive system. Mid-range tonality was excellent. Bass was good, but we were getting some breakthrough from whoever was exhibiting next door, which interfered a bit. Stereo was excellent. That's a good system to listen to. And Richard, as always, gets a good system sound at a show. We came out of the Vandersteen room and we bumped into Josh Bizarre of Music Direct, Lo-Fi Distribution. how's it going for you? Are you here as a distributor, as a dealer? Are you just
I wear a lot of different hats.
Yeah.
But right now I'm just representing Music Direct, seeing all of our vendors, and
Yeah.
Unfortunately there are less of my vendors here this year.
Just
but,
one floor.
It's a little bit sad. It feels like it's the end of a real long era of hi-fi at CES.
Yeah, I mean, this is my 40th CES, and I've been coming all this time. This is the smallest amount of high-end audio I have seen. Although there's people making good sounds, there's
Absolutely. There's
some
still
rooms are
some
full.
great rooms.
Yeah. So, you
So
know,
where's this leave us? Besides all going to Munich and seeing each other in Germany,
yeah.
but where do U.S. dealers come to see this stuff? What's going to happen next?
I have no idea. I mean, are they going to go to the regional shows like
And some of the
Expo?
regional shows like Axona have become really great shows. They are growing every year and getting better, but they're not real industry shows.
That's right.
They're consumer
They're
shows.
consumer shows. They're not shows for you guys for doing business.
Correct.
And that's what CES always used to be about. Well, thank you, Josh.
It's my pleasure.
We're going to go into the VTL room. Let's go and see what they're showing. Hi, Pete.
Thank you for coming. Yes, Happy New Year.
Oh, is that new?
It is new, and it's our exciting phono stage for 3750. It's TP 2.5i for improved.
Right.
We showed it as a prototype last year at CES, but since then have made quite a few improvements and refinements, and it is finally in production.
Okay, so using JFETs for moving coils.
Right here, yep, down there, and a tube. So it's a
And a
JFET
tube.
and tube,
Right.
a 12AU7 in current mode, high current, and then that drives the MM stage through a passive RIAA,
Okay.
and then out through the buffer. There's an option on the board as well that the user can select as MC step-up transformers, which would then feed the MM.
Okay, so have they come standard?
Yes.
Yes, so the user then has a choice. Active, moving core stage, or the transformer couple.
Or the MM and their own transformer if
Yeah.
they prefer. You know, some cartridges like that. We've added shunt regulation, which really improved noise and low-level signal.
Okay.
And a UI transformer, which is fairly similar to an R-core approach.
Yeah.
A balanced power transformer, because these transformers pick up hum very readily.
Even with a toroidal, that would give up a strong enough hum field? that would be-
Toroidals are worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the tube step-up world, that there are a lot of turns, and they don't radiate. They're supposed to radiate in the center, but they tend to not.
Yeah.
They were far worse. So we developed a balanced approach of two bobbins, and they're back-to-back, and all kinds of techniques to get this to not radiate so much. And then heavy RF filtering.
I see. Okay, well, tell us about the system you're having, because
Great.
I'd like to play some of my recordings
That'd
on
be
it.
fantastic. Yeah. The system sheet is here.
Thank you.
And basically, for your recordings, we would play the Apple Mac laptop
Right.
into the DCS Rossini with the Rossini
Oh, I see,
clock.
yes, down there.
Yeah, and then we would play it through the TL 6.5 hybrid line stage. And for the phono that I'd like to play is the new phono stage and the Brinkmann turntable, Spider turntable, and the Etna cartridge.
The Lyra Etna.
Yeah,
Okay.
Lyris Etna, and all Nordost cabling. Our S200, which is the amp on the right, the 200-watt stereo.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, and driving the Wilson Duet 2s. And Sterling Trail set it up, so hopefully
I mean, in the
we got a good
past,
sound.
you've used Wilson speakers at previous shows.
Yes.
But what made you choose the duets?
We were looking for a speaker that would work well with the stereo amps that will go with the new phono stage,
Okay.
for one. For two, the amp on the left is a prototype that we're showing our dealers, and it's designed for. On our website, we recommend the amplifiers for a certain driver size. So we wanted a stand-mounted monitor to be able to play
Okay.
it.
But we're listening to the S200.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's the prototype.
Right. And so I've got to move cables and to play it, but
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
We were gathering feedback from the
okay,
dealers.
so let's listen to some music.
Great.
Thank you.
Please,
Thank you.
thank you.
Well, thanks so much, B.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Luke. Thank you for the music. And
Pleasure.
one quick question. I mean, how's the show been for you?
The show, we didn't get as many appointments as we did last year, so it was kind of different, but we got fairly good traffic. And, you know, really we need a B2B show, you know, business-to-business show in the US. I mean, Munich is one thing, but it's hard to make good sound there.
Yes, because it's glass walls. And
Yeah, and huge rooms and, you know, all this stuff. And so we found that CES for us is something we like to do if we can. It's not a hard show for us to do.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think, you know, the traffic there was a slow start today. We'll see how it goes tomorrow.
Okay, well.
Hopefully be back next year. We like the show.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. So, very interesting. The VTL amplifiers, I know from experience, they are excellent. The new phono stage looked intriguing, and we're going to get one for review. I'm not sure about the speakers. The little mid-range forward, we played a clarinet and piano recording, and the clarinet, I'm a clarinet player, and the clarinet sounded too forward. Same thing on the voices. Very palpable, but the voices were thrown forward and more in the mix than I'm normally used to. I think what happens with the speakers, if you heard on the organ recording, they had pretty good bass extension for us as a relatively small speaker, but then they have to use a relatively large woofer for a two-way, and that was always then difficult at getting even balance on voices. But interesting room, nevertheless.
I'm playing 300 credits. Did I win $2.04? Is that what? It's surround sound in the speaker too, actually. Good luck. What does that do for me? Game over. That was it. Game over. I got nothing. It used to be 3 things would line up and you'd get something or you wouldn't get something. Now you can't. You have to spend a day figuring out how to use these machines. I'm done. So this is more my speed. It's basically the way slot machines used to be in the old days. This I can relate to. So if you line up 3 across, you get something. So listen. 1 line. Go. Go. Why doesn't it go? C pays help. What does that mean? What happened? Game over. I lost $1. I'm done. I'm done.